So you know, every time they tell me, Slim, you can play Alistair in this deck, you know damn well I'm gonna play it. What's going on, you guys? Slim here to bring you guys a new deck profile like I promised. My take on Numeron Invoked. Post Battle of Legends. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, that way you guys will be notified whenever I upload. Also notify you when I stream over on Twitch. Link is in the description. As always, if you see any cards here during the profile that you would like to purchase, consider using my TCG player link. It's in the description below. A portion of what you spend goes back to the channel. It helps me out and I really do appreciate it. So they gave me another deck to play Alistair in, and you know what happens? Every time you do that, I'm gonna play it. Outside of Eldritch. The only reason I didn't play it, your boy didn't pick up Eldritch at the right time. It's too expensive, but that's neither here nor there. But I got Alistair and friends with the Numeron engine. It's awesome. I'm gonna explain my card choices. There's only one deck profile out on YouTube, and shout out to Alpha. I think it's Alpha Trading Card Games. I probably got it wrong, but shout out to you guys for putting out the first invoked version of this deck. I took a lot of inspiration from there. I made a couple changes to the deck just to my personal liking. I'll explain it, but definitely check them out. First people to do it, and I hope that this profile and that profile will give people inspiration to play this deck. But yeah, if you guys enjoy the profile, you guys already know what to do. Just smash that like button. Richard will watch over us while we profile this, but you guys know when there's Alistair in a deck, I'm all about it. So yeah, of course, the All-Star, Alistair the All-Star, whatever you want to call it, All-Star the Invoker. What can I say, you guys? Until they do something to this engine, God forbid, we know it's gonna happen one day, your boy's gonna play it for like ever. I love Alistair. One card Macabre. Now, I have to explain how this deck works. Obviously, Alistair is kind of like your go-to turn one play if you don't get to your Numeron engine. But remember one thing, if you do open Zexal, very similar to the previous deck profile with the Guru Control Numeron deck, you can do your Zexal play, then you can set Alistair. A lot of people don't know, if Alistair is flipped face up, he searches Invocation. A lot of people forget that, and I've used this effect on multiple occasions. Don't forget that little interaction that you can set Alistair. He actually has 1800 defense, which is not bad, and literally you can flip him and search your Invocation. So you do have that option. Remember that. If you open Numeron Network or Away to Numeron Network in Alistair, remember that you can still capitalize off setting the Alistair in addition to doing your Zexal play. So please don't forget that. It's super important for this type of deck. And then of course, 3 Numeron Wall. Card's nuts. Just being able to activate your Numeron Network from your deck is crazy. Also a Battle Fader, like I said in the previous profile, I think that's really underrated. Like you take a little damage in the battle phase. That's pretty good. I'd rather not get OTK'd. So I really like Numeron Wall. Obviously you have to play it. And then the rest is basically hand traps. So we're not playing Mech Knights or anything like that in this. I have heard that there are builds that do play Mech Knights. I think I have to wrap my head around it because I guess Mech Knights, you want to go second. But if you Zexal, like, going second, you would just do the Numeron OTK. But if that gets stopped or something, I guess you fall back on your Mech Knights. Not really sure how that works. I'll look into it. If it seems something that I would actually want to profile, I'll bring it to you guys. But I like the pure version because those are your only real monsters. And you guys already know what that means. The rest is hand traps. Boy, is there a good amount of them. So, of course, Triple Ash, most generic. Always the best one to play at the start of a format. It may be bad against Numeron, but it's good against pretty much everything else. You can always catch something to Ash. The card that is actually insane against the Numeron Network is 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. You have to play this card. I feel that this card is definitely going to see a lot more play this format because of everyone picking up the Numeron cards. I don't know if you guys have been watching the market watches. Shout out to John and Robbie for all their, their daily market watches. The Numeron engine is pretty cheap, you guys. I don't know if you knew this. It's gone down a lot, so you guys can definitely pick it up using my TCG player link in the description below. And you guys will be able to pick it up pretty cheap and then, play this out if you have Zexal. So I definitely see Ogre doing a lot of good in the rest of the format. Not only that, you can activate it on field too, which might come up. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Ogre's just a great card. And then Triple Veiler. So I'll be honest with you guys, this really feels like back in when Mech Knights first came out. Like this was our hand trap lineup. It was Ash, Ogre, and Veiler, and it feels good to play this again. I like it like this because you're able to just hard stop your opponent. Being able to Veiler, when they're playing Animancipator, or being able to Veiler the Hulky 5-Rax, or whatever, honestly, is just great. So I chose to play these cards. We chose to forego Nibiru in this particular build, and the only reason is because it can conflict with some of our engines. Not only that, Nibiru is great, but again, Nibiru doesn't do anything to Numeron if you're smart. If you're a moron and you literally play into it, well, that's your own fault. But I think most players are going to know, just summon 3 monsters, make your Zexal, guess what? No Nibiru. That kind of sucks. Yeah, so for right now, we're just not playing on Nibiru in the main. But that's it for the monsters in the deck. Very low monster count, but you guys will see why when we get to the rest of the deck. And just letting you know, this is a 40 card list. I wanted to make it as consistent as possible since we are playing the double edge. And so, of course, you've got triple meltdown. That's obvious for Alistair. Like, that's just crazy. You know, as long as this card's around, we're going to play it. For the Numeron engine, we've got, of course, the triple network. That's standard. You guys should know. Along with that, we got the double calling. And since we are playing the invoked engine, we chose to only go with 2 copies of Invocation this list. So the only reason why I'm doing 2 copies of Invocation in this particular list, I'm not playing Pot of Desires, so I don't feel like I need to, you know, play 3 copies. You know, obviously, you know, if they try to hit Alistair with something, that could be a problem. But you have to remember that I can Zexal them, their turn passes, I go to Alistair, and I can just start doing my things. I'm not really worried. Invocation is recyclable. We're never going to lose it, like, off of Desires or anything. So I think the 2-2 split with the calling and the Invocation, I think, is just right. I don't think there's any need to go more than that. I've seen some lists that play 3 Numeron calling. I just can't do it, but I think 2 is the perfect number. And then, to forego, like, I know a lot of people are playing that Miracle of Hope card, so personally, I don't like that card. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. You're like, Slim, it draws 4. Okay, but it can be one of the worst cards to draw. Like, if you don't resolve your Numeron engine, it's dead. Like, just dead. And if it somehow gets stopped, it's dead. It's a horrible top deck. It does nothing. Like, I love the idea of drawing 4 cards. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't do it. So personally, I decided to forego that card. You can play it if you want, but I personally just didn't care for it. I know a lot of you in the comments are going to say it's a draw 4. Go right ahead. For my personal preference, I just choose not to play it. Instead, I decided to play 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Now, you guys can replace this with Miracle of Hope if you want, but I think if you guys do more and more testing, you'll see what I mean, that you want more proactive cards going first and going second. Call by the Grave is one of those cards. So this deck has changed because obviously, you know, Invoked like to go second. Well, now it can go first because of the Numeron engine. The beauty of Call by the Grave is we can just catch anything. If they try to Ogre us, nah, we got Call by the Grave. Try to Ashes, nah, we got Call by the Grave. This card's also really good going first. You know, you set things up. They don't hand trap you or whatever. You can set this and you can just disrupt their graveyard, disrupt their plays, and the card's amazing. I'm a huge fan of Call by the Grave in this format. I think he's definitely a card you guys should play. If you guys are in agreement with me and don't play Miracle of Hope, just replace it with 3 Call by the Grave. Card's great. And then one idea I did get from the other deck profile I mentioned in the beginning of the video, triple Forbidden Chalice in the main deck. So this is basically to go against all the Numeron decks that are making Zexal. This is one of the best outs. They go during your, I think it's your, I don't know if they do it during your standby or like whenever they detach. You know, basically to turn off all your effects, you change Chalice. Same thing with impermanence. We also play impermanence in the deck, so we have 6 ways to just stop them, like to hard stop the Zexal from going off. So I really like Chalice. I also like what Chalice can do just against anything. It's almost like another hand trap in a sense, because you can catch them real quick with stopping their effect, and that's great. Not only that, it could also be an attack booster that can win you the game. That plus 400 doesn't sound like much, but hey, sometimes it's the difference between you winning and losing. So I like the triple Chalice in the main deck. I think we're going to see a lot more Chalice, definitely in people's side decks, if not their main decks this format. And since we are not a going second deck, we actually want to play to go first, I decided to switch out Lightning Storms for Cosmic Cyclones. You guys are probably like, yes, he did it. He switched to the cheaper version. Yeah. Lightning Storm, I love that card, but we're not a dedicated going second deck. We're obviously going to have cards face up. I need a more proactive card going first and going second. That's what Cosmic Cyclone is. This card is also great because it banishes the problem. I'll tell you right now, that is so valuable, this format. I love the fact that I can banish, you know, opposing field cards. I can banish Eldritch cards. I can banish a lot of things, you know, like Mystic Mind, stuff like that, and it's just gone. It's just gone, and I think that's really fantastic. So I'm a huge fan of Cosmic Cyclone in this format, especially in a deck that wants to go first. I can fully understand playing that card as opposed to playing Lightning Storm in a dedicated going second deck, and save you guys some money. You see, we save money on this channel too. Not a Market Watch channel, but we try to save money. And the one-ups, I got Terraforming and Set Rotation. This shouldn't come as a surprise. Field spells. Be careful with Set Rotation. So it was mentioned in the other deck profile, and I do agree. You really have to decide what you want going first. So if I have Set Rotation, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to give myself Numeron Network and give my opponent Magical Meltdown and hope that they're not playing an Alistair deck. So you really don't want to give them the Numeron Network because you just don't know. Like, You can set rotation later, like after you have your Zexal, after you've gotten your plays off, but just be careful with this card. But again, it is another way to get to your field spell, so that's super important. And then I want consistency, so I had to play Upstart, so that makes it a 39 card deck. And then the only trap in the deck is triple impermanence, just more hand traps. I think it's really important. One of the best hand traps is format. If you look at all the hand traps we're playing, I think they're pretty clean. I think they get the job done, and they're good against every deck in pretty much every situation. So that's it for the deck. It's a clean 40. Extra deck real quick for you guys. So this is not an extra deck, so our ratios are different for the Numerons, but we are playing 2 copies of 1, 2 copies of 2, 2 copies of 3, and the 1 copy of 4. Those are the main Numerons, and I am just testing this out. A lot of people told me I should have played this in the Guru deck, but it just didn't come up that much. But I am going to try out C1. I do like its banishing effect. That is a pretty cool effect if it does come up. It's not guaranteed to resolve, but I mean, hey, we're not going to lose our extra deck off extra. So I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. If I don't like it, I'll take it out for something else. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with the Numeron count. You just want to be able to summon your guys, and if you have a follow-up play, you go for it. Then, of course, the card that's going to get banned, we already know, card's broken. That card's really nice. Then for the Invoked engine is very small. It's just 2 Makaba and 1 Purgatrio. I don't feel you need to play any others. The only reason is, one thing about this, the Numerons are all light. Zexal's light, so your Makaba's more live. Purgatrio is there with All Mirage and also with your what is it called? And is also there with your Ash Blossom, so that's pretty important. I'd rather just have that. I think that these are good enough. Summon this first, and then you use this to basically OTK your opponent. So very, very standard. The extra deck's a little tight, but there are cards you do have to play. Then, of course, you still have to have your 1 card Makaba play. Yo, shout out to Battle of Legends for finally making Secure Garden a holo. You already know what it is. I'm super happy that this is holo now. Now the Brothers of Destructions, if you want to call them, to make your Makaba, or at least holo. So looks great to me. So huge fan of the holo Secure Garden. And then last but not least, I'm still playing this guy. This card's ridiculous. I've already said it before. It's one of the only decks that can pump it out next to Zodiac, and this card is just nice. I think a lot of decks just don't have an out to it. So it's like, they don't have an out to it, why not play it? The card's broken. But that's it, you guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this deck profile of my version of Invoked Numeron Invoked for the new format. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. You already know, the more likes the better. Numerons are crazy, you guys. Like I said, get them now while they're falling down in price. Battle Legends is actually getting cheaper each day outside of like the 10,000 Dragon and the Utopia. But outside of that, pick the stuff up. The price card has gone down. A lot of stuff has gone down, so make sure you guys pick that up. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this deck profile. You just wait for the next deck profile, you guys. We finally finished the Guard Dragon Thunder deck because we got our copy of Chaos Emperor. So I'm super excited for that, but hopefully you guys did enjoy. Let me know your thoughts on Invoked Numeron this format. Obviously, Invoked is going to get a lot of attention when Dramatica, or whatever the hell they're called now, the Dragma engine drops, so it's going to be pretty crazy. But let me know your thoughts on this deck, any changes you would make, and hopefully you guys did enjoy. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.